One task you may take on during the DFM process is updating your SolidWorks files to match the modifications the tooling supplier is recommending for your part. In this video, I'm going to take you through a method that works to match the altered geometry while retaining the parametric elements of your model, without needing to keep the supplier's file linked as a reference. Let's take a look. So what you can see on screen at the moment, just while I've got that paused, the image on the left is the file from the Toolmaker, from the supplier, so the one in green with the red highlight, and the image on the right is my original SolidWorks file. What we're going to do is reverse engineer the SolidWorks file that's ours to match the one from the supplier, so that those details are then built into our master files. This was a part with configurations as well, so I wanted to make sure that any of those changes, they're related only to the configuration that's active for this part, this size at the time. Okay, let's hit go. So we start by cleaning up the fillets in the file from the supplier, okay, from the Toolmaker. And my aim here is to simplify the faces. So I just get back to the flat faces with angles, but without the fillets, so then it's easier to reference, okay, and cross-match against the skeleton file, the master file that I'm working on. Here, all we're doing is I'm just unfreezing some of those features so I can go back into the configurations of the original part, make some changes, and I'm getting into a position here using an assembly mode so that I can visualize both files at the same time, but only work on one. So I'm going to reference here the green file while I make changes to the grey file. The grey file being our master file, and the one that I want to make those modifications to match. And so you can see what I've done here, lined up my planes. I've also just done a temporary cut in half for both parts. So not a section view, but a cut in half, so that I only have to work on one side at a time. So here I'm going back into some features that are controlling that geometry, and I'm just getting to a view where I can see exactly what needs to change. So you can see that dimension that from the outside needs to come in to bring that face and give it a little bit more thickness on the outside. Simple geometry change or dimension change there in the sketches. But now here, you can see, if I pause it for a second, you could see that, just as I pause it here, you can see that there are two different angles of the faces. So there's this area here where there's this face here, which is matching. Great. And there's a break line here. So this edge, that face is then split, and then the face behind it is drafted outwards, creating a dovetail joint between the two bodies when they're overmolded. So all I had to do here was get that split line in the same position and then change or add a draft feature to that face. Now this is difficult without breaking the reference, but you can see the little trick that I've done to do that. And I'll just come back a second here. So at the start, the first thing I did was convert it. All right, so I know it's exactly in the right place. My next step then is to delete that conversion. So that deletes the reference to the original sketch or the original other body. And then I'm going to add dimensions to make sure it's fully defined. All right, I always want it fully defined, even if those dimensions don't really mean much. And you'll see that in a second here. It's like a 0.53 angle, and that's been set. And then it's just a matter of changing that draft angle until I can match that face. So all good there. So that face is now correct. Now what I need to do is fill in that bottom section and get that to match as well. So this was actually cutting out more geometry. Okay, so cutting out some of that solid. I converted entities to start, so I got the exact shape that I need. And then the process I'm going to go through is deleting each of those relations and then adding dimensions to then fully define them. All right, so everything will keep its original position, but now be fully defined based on my master file and not referencing the other body. Now, I move that face there. You can see there's a very slight difference between the two, because in reality, it won't matter if there's a 0.05 millimeter difference between those two, between something that's tooled and something that we make. That's okay. So now that I'm happy with all the faces, I'm going back, referencing the original file, seeing the size of the fillets, and matching the fillets in my file. And so now I don't need those parts overlapping anymore. I'm just sitting out the green one to the side, so it's easy for me to view and hit the measure tool and get the dimensions of those radiuses, and then replicate that in my master file. So it's a little bit of a process, just making sure getting all the dimensions correct. And now, so that was the first part. Okay, so there's two bodies with this overmolding. You can see the inside and the outside. So now I've done the outside body. I have to modify the inside body to match the surfaces up. This is a bit easier though, because I don't need to reference the part that's been provided by the supplier. All I'm doing here now is filling in the gap that has been left with the changes that I've made. So once that gap was adjusted, I've then removed that cut extrude I had, and all I'm doing going through here is a process of just checking that everything fits and all my configurations still work. So you can see there's some different sizes here with different parts. And the modified one here, I'm sort of leaving on screen. And on the right, you can see the product that's recently been launched and where that part works. So it's that black part that sits underneath that clamp, that's getting held in position, forming a nice tight bond. All right, hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So what I'd like to do on this channel is provide more tutorials like this. So please let me know in the comments or send me an email about what you need help with, what kind of challenges you face in your day-to-day work, and I'll work to provide the answers and walkthroughs just like this one. Thanks very much. See you next time.